Hey guys, back for sideboarding here for this week's versus video, and as you can see, I am not doing too much sideboarding, even though the first two games didn't go that well. I think Dispel is going to be incredible against them. If you watched the deck, we talked about this card at length. Obviously, counters Collected Company and Rally the Ancestors, and as you can see, he's also bringing in Murderous Cuts and Dispels, so being able to stop his biggest things and protect our threats from his scant removal spells is going to be important. And then PN Kieran is going to give us a little bit more board presence against the Rally deck's Wealth of Creatures, and the added flyers, I think, are quite good. So the cards I am bringing out are the two Roasts. They're just inefficient removal spells against a deck filled with sort of mopey value creatures that frequently don't even trade for removal spells at value. That's sort of the point of them. So the roasts come out, the dispels come in.
It's pretty bad against my birds, too.
Exactly. And then the addition of dispels, which are bad with Abbott, has led me to decide to trim one of those, especially since I'm bringing in a couple more threats. And then I'm cutting a treasure cruise so that I am not clogged on expensive spells along with these PN Kierans. So,
all right, for my sideboarding, it might look like I'm just a crazy person. I'm boarding out 6 singletons, but this is something I alluded to in the deck tech. I think what's really important about Rally is that it's kind of a sum of its parts. If you could pick and choose your draws or your collected companies, you'd prefer to basically draw one copy of every single element of the deck. You really want access to a bunch of different kinds of effects, and so this kind of reflects that. You might think that trimming on Rally the Ancestors is a little crazy too, but it can actually get pretty clunky in your hand, and especially when you're playing against decks that are trying to fight you with dispels and things like that. I don't actively want to draw a bunch of rallies. I kind of just want to be have it be my knockout punch really late in the game or whatever. Grim Horospecs and Antuco Husk are also kind of maybe weirder cards to board out, but just against decks in general with a bunch of shocks in them, I don't want Ross just to be able to very cleanly trade his 1 mana for my 3. That's something I'm not interested in. As far as what I'm bringing in, these dispels are pretty much just preemptively boarded in against my opponent's dispels. It's not that Ross has tons of instants that I'm that worried about. I just want to be able to protect my own key spells like Collected Company. Murderous Cut, just pinpoint removal is good against the kind of Delver, Protect the Queen strategies. If you can eliminate their clock, then in general their deck is much worse than yours going into the late game. And then Roshan Cleric is something I'm not convinced is actually great against Ross's deck, but it's just something that buys time. It's a good blocker, gets in front of Swift Spears and Abbots and things like that, and I think it's just going to serve me better in the early game than a Zulaport Cutthroat would. So let's get back to the games.
Here for game 3, and like game 1, I have a great hand, good mix of lands, creatures, and spells, so hopefully I get to steal this one. So I shouldn't say steal, win this one.
Win this
my deck's
one, yeah.
great.
Sure. My hand is really, really awkward. Doesn't mean it's bad. It's just deploying my cards and getting my mana into play is going to be kind of challenging. Yeah. But we're still good. I'm going to keep.
These are the games that the Rally deck can look really awkward in. So when you don't curve out well, attack for 1.
19.
Most decks like to curve out, I guess. That's the thing.
Ugh. That did not really improve anything. Your turn.
Draw. That's not bad. I'll take a point to 19, play Mage, attack for 2.
Okay.
17,
19, sacrifice this. So I can basically either get a Swamp or Plains. I can get a Swamp, intend on getting white mana with this and playing something next turn, so that's probably the route we're going to take. One day, you're going to give me my deck in the right direction.
No.
But it won't be this day. Fetch a Plains, play an Roshan Cleric, trigger that. Your turn.
19. Okay, on the upkeep, I'm going to Titan Strength the Stormchaser Mage.
Ross is doing this so he can manipulate his draw step, potentially.
I think I want that one. That one seems like it's going to do good things, because then I can cast this into that and attack for a lot of damage. So I'll keep that on top and draw it.
Okie doke. And I'm at 19.
I will correct this Bloodstained Mire, going to 18. I will get another mountain. I will Titan Strength the Swift Spear, scry 1.
Oh gosh,
Put that
any
on
of
the
us
bottom. I'll take a point and Impulse the
Oh,
Irrational
sure.
Cleric at 17. So I've cast 3 spells, and they're both +3s from the strengths, so they're 7s. Attack for 14.
Ugh, okay.
You're 5.
I'm at 5.
You can go.
And you have how many cards left?
1.
Okay. Well, there's some good news, I guess. Alright, so I think we're basically forced into casting this turn, but I still want to play an additional spell, so I'm just going to play this Polluted Delta and play an Eiley. Pass the turn.
That's a pretty good draw, but he's probably going to Murder's Cut one of my guys. So I will Impulse the Eiley.
Yep.
Attack for 4.
Yep, Murder's Cut your flyer.
So you go to 4 from the
Then
fetch,
2.
and then 2 from the attack. And we'll play a Fumarole.
And I think I want to leave the Russian Cleric in my graveyard.
Russian Cleric's going to win you this game. Why am I shuffling your deck? Why did you have to bring in a Russian Cleric?
Oh, goodness. Play this Nantuko Husk, play Evolving Wilds, pass a turn. Kind of just dead to everything.
Slip.
Yep, okay, dead.
We did it. Ooh, another Impulse. Attack for 3.
Attack for, was it 14 on turn 3?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.